Welcome to Research Talk. I hope you all are enjoying our journey together on qualitative data analysis. In our previous video, we talked about certain strategies to code the data. We talked about descriptive coding, we talked about in vivo coding, and some other strategies. In this video, I'm going to talk about another popular strategy that social scientists use to code the data, and we call it concept coding. As the word itself suggests, concept. So in this strategy, what we do, we look at the excerpt and code the data based on like some concept, based on what concept does it represents. In other words, this coding strategy is kind of a macro level strategy. So you are looking not like doing a line by line coding, but you are reading an excerpt and thinking, what concept, what broader concept does this excerpt represent? So your coding strategy is a bit macro level rather than micro level. And this strategy, what you do is, it's very useful in categorizing the data, organizing the data, based on the concepts which are inherent in the data. And therefore, the number of codes that we see in other approaches of coding, because they are more focused on line by line coding, you generate more codes in the first cycle of coding. However, with concept coding, the number of codes are less, because as I said, you are doing kind of a I would say chunking, in the sense that you take one excerpt and you do chunk coding. So meaning that you are doing a more broader level of coding because you are focusing on the concepts which are inherent in the data. And since you are doing a bit of chunking coding, you are more looking at the broader picture when you are making your codes. Let me take an example. So let's say I go to a shopping mall, and then I bought a pair of shoes, I bought some clothes, and I went to the food court and had some food. So if I have to code look at these three activities that I did at the shopping mall, we can call it consuming. So this is what I mean to say concept when you are coding the data. So three activities, but all of them are representing a concept called consuming. So consuming could be my code if I am doing coding a data where the participant is talking about these different activities they did at a shopping mall. Let's take another example. If you observe a person playing a guitar, you might see this person pressing different strings. You might see this person pressing at different frets of the guitar. So these are like the what actually is happening there. But at conceptual level, what is happening? This person is creating music. So concept coding is a little bit macro level coding where you look at the excerpt, qualitative data, and code it based on what inherent concepts does this activities or what is being talked about in the data represents, and then you code accordingly. Let me demonstrate this coding so that you get a actual sense of how does it look like in practice. Let me show it on my computer. All right, so you could see my computer screen. It is a focus group interview transcript exploring college students' experiences with online learning. And in this focus group interview, there are 3 participants. You all could see respondent 1, respondent 2 here, and then respondent 3 here. So it's a excerpt from a focus group interview. So let's start coding it according to concept coding style of coding. So first thing first, let me first create a margin on the right side. So I go to layout, then margins, and then custom margins. And then I'll on the right side, I'll create some margins to put our codes there. Let's see. So now you could see the excerpt has moved on the left side and there is space on the right side for our coding. And let me insert a text box here. All right, so we got our excerpt text box here, and we can start the coding now. So the interviewer, we do not code the interviewer excerpt. So interviewer is asking the question, let's start with your initial thoughts on moving to online learning. How did you feel about the transition? Respondent 1, oh, it was quite a shift for me. At first, I really struggled with not having the physical classroom, but as time went by, I found that being able to pause and rewatch lectures really suited my learning style. So that's the first response from this respondent. And we are coding this as concept coding. So what code do you think fits in here? Based on what this participant has shared, this participant is basically talking about self-paced learning. So that's the underlying concept this person is talking about, that in online learning, you can choose, what time you can see the material, watch the videos, watch the lectures. So it's kind of a self-paced learning which is you see in online learning. So that is our first concept code, self-paced learning. Now the interviewer is responding, interesting, and did this change in approach help you in any specific areas? And now the respondent 1 is again responding, definitely, with understanding the more complex topics. It's like having the time to really digest the information at my own pace made a big change. So same concept, self-paced learning here. If you want, you can add like flexibility. All right. Now the interviewer is responding, that's great to hear. How about you? How did you find the transition? So now moving to the second respondent. Honestly, it's been a bit tough for me. The flexibility is nice and all, but I've had a hard time keeping myself motivated without the regular classroom routine. So what might be a suitable concept code here? This person is saying it's a bit tough, and this person says I like the flexibility part of it, self-paced and flexibility, but I find it difficult to motivate myself in this medium. So we can code it like flexibility, motivation, paradox. What do you think? Flexibility, motivation, paradox. So it's basically a paradoxical situation. On the one hand, this person says, I like the flexibility part of moving to online learning, but I find it difficult to find the motivation that I have for regular classroom routines. So let's keep moving. Interviewer, I see. Have you found anything that helps you manage that challenge? And this person is responding, sort of trying to keep a fixed schedule helps a bit, like simulating a normal school day at home, but it's not quite the same. So we can, sorry, there's a bit of confusion. Okay. So sort of trying to keep a fixed schedule helps a bit, like simulating a normal school day at home, but it's not quite the same. So for this, a code that we could use may be simulated structure copying. So this person is coping, and he's tried to simulate the normal school day at home to cope with the challenge of finding motivation for this online learning. So you could see that, when I'm coding this transcript with this approach where I'm trying to understand the underlying concept, what I'm doing is I'm reading the excerpt and asking myself, what is the underlying concept that this person is referring to? And you could see we came up with self-paced learning, part of online learning, which is exciting for these participants. So that's concept 1, concept coding, self-paced learning, flexibility that online learning offers. And then one participant talked about, yes, I like the flexibility, but I don't feel motivated in this medium as I feel for in-person classroom learning. So there is this paradox he is referring to, flexibility motivation paradox. So that's another coding. And finally, in response to how this person is trying to cope with this paradoxical situation, so he tried to create a classroom simulated environment at home to keep himself motivated. So simulated structure coping. Let's quote some further, and then let me add another text box here. So now the interviewer is saying, got it, thanks for sharing, and what's your experience been like? So now he's moving to the third participant, and third participant is responding, I've actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would, being able to engage in discussions online, especially late at night when I'm most awake, and have been really beneficial to me. So this person is talking about like he has enjoyed this part where he can engage in online discussions, and he can do that late at night when he is most awake. And so this person seems like a person who is like love to walk late at night, and is not a morning person. So based on what he is sharing, I can code it optimal engagement timing. So that's another benefit or plus point of working, online learning. Interview respond, that's an interesting point about the timing of engagement. Do you feel that this has helped you connect more with your coursework or peers? And now the third participant is responding, absolutely, with both. I have had more in-depth conversations and have been able to share and receive diverse perspectives that I might not have in a traditional setting. So this person is referring to enhanced asynchronous engagement. So I will pause here. So you could see that in concept coding, you do not do line by line coding. As you could see, unlike other approaches, the number of codes are less. And the reason is because we are not doing line by line coding. We are coding a chunk of data, and we are focusing on the concept at a conceptual level, what this excerpt is referring to, and we are generating codes to capture those experiences, to capture those concepts inherent in the data. I hope it made sense to you, understanding what a conceptual coding looks like. If you have any questions, you can leave your comments and I will get back to you. I will see you again in another video talking about another approach of data analysis in qualitative research. Till then, have a good rest of the day. I'll see you soon.